Alright guys, my name is Genesis Barajas. This is for the Geology 22 class, and my dinosaur is the Triceratops. So the etymology, basically how its name came to be. So Triceratops literally means three-horned face. So it was derived from the ancient Greek word tri, which means three, Keras, I hope that's how it's pronounced, which means horned, and ops, which means face. So here's a little chart for you guys to kind of show how put together it becomes Triceratops. So where and when? So the first fossil was found in 1887 in Denver, Colorado, but it also has been found in Montana, Wyoming, and Alberta, Canada. So when they found it, it was a mostly intact skull, seeing as the horns were still attached. It was then sent to O.C. Marsh, who originally thought it was a bison. However, the next year, John Bell Hatcher found another fossil in 1888, and that is when Marsh realized that he was wrong. So, Triceratops lived more than 65 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. So, they lived in open areas called river floodplain during the Mesozoic era. So, the climate was warm and damp, which was perfect for the food that they ate. So, on to O.C. Marsh. He was an American paleontologist, officially named and described the Triceratops in 1889, and he had a very famous rivalry with E.D. Cope, which actually led to us, getting the dinosaurs we do now, because it was such a competition for them that they were always trying to find new things. So thank goodness for that rivalry. So there are two types of known Triceratops. One of them is the Triceratops horridus and the Triceratops prorsus. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So the way you can tell them apart is that the horridus has a small nose horn and a long beak, which would be found in the lower portions of the Hell Creek Formation. And the Triceratops prorsus has a longer nose horn and shorter beak. So these would be found, though, in the higher portions of the Hell Creek Formation. But if you were to go towards the middle of the Hell Creek Formations, you would kind of get something that's a little bit of a mixture of both, as you can tell. See how they have some distinct differences, and this one is a nice mixture of the both. So what they ate. Triceratops were herbivores, which is obviously a plant eater. So they lived on a diet of magnolia, tulips, trees, and many other things. So their beak-like mouth was perfect for plucking and grasping veggies as opposed to biting things. So if you can see in the back here is their little teeth. A little fun fact is that their teeth had no roots. So they fell out a lot, which was okay because newer, sharper teeth grew out, which were better for them to eat with. And another fun fact was that their teeth had about 5 layers of tissue, which is a lot of layers. So, some friends that they are closely related to. So, the Triceratops comes from the monophyletic group of Ornithischia, I believe that's how it's pronounced, hopefully, which is duck-billed dinosaurs. So, some of them they're closely related to are the Centrosaurus and the Pentaceratops. And if I remember this correctly, I think this is the Centrosaurus and this is the Pentaceratops. So other Mesozoic reptiles that were around. So Triceratops were said to move around in herds. However, there is very little evidence that they did, seeing as they have been found individually. But they may have walked around with this little guy here, a Graciliceratops, and this terrifying friend here, the Spinosaurus. I am so deeply terrified of this big guy. So some non-reptilian friends were lice, which is very gross, but also very entertaining to think about a dinosaur just walking around with lice. And then here we are, millions of years later, still dealing with the same problem, which is disgusting. Another disgusting one is the cockroach. They literally refuse to die, and I am not super excited about that. I mean, good for them, they may take over the world one day, but I'm not super excited for them. Another one would be a devil frog, which, from the looks of this image here, looks like it's eating one of the smaller dinosaurs. So, poor thing. I mean, I guess you could say that dinosaurs weren't exactly always at the top, but it's fun to see how something that we see almost every day, a frog, could have been a threat to some dinosaurs. So, their size and extinction. So, some Triceratops could be as long as 30 feet and weigh more than 6 metric tons, which is about 12,000 to 16,000 pounds, which is very heavy. Their forehead horns grew as long as 3.3 feet, which is a child, and their skull could be more than 6.6 feet long, which is a basketball player. Fun. The Triceratops is one of the last known dinosaurs that were non-avian, obviously meaning they didn't fly. It would be crazy if they could, and terrifying as well. So, the Triceratops became extinct in the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. It's so funny. They call it an event, as if it's something that everyone could attend. Well, everyone did attend it, but no one made it out. And that happened about 66 million years ago. And here's a fun little image. My little Triceratops friend is dead. So here is actually a picture of the famous Steven Spielberg next to a Triceratops that they made and for the film. And they mainly got the size and everything else about it correct. So just seeing him sitting next to it is very crazy. And let me double check right now how tall he is. Steven Spielberg is 5'8", so this man is 5 feet 8 inches next to this monstrosity. So that kind of gives a little bit more perspective as to how big they were. Here is another little chart that I found that I really liked to show, that their height. The average woman is actually about 5'3", and the average man is about 5'9". So Steven Spielberg almost made it. But this is just a chart to show if this is an average man and woman, how a Triceratops would look right next to them. So in conclusions, Triceratops are a lot bigger than I expected. And there are two different types, the Horridus and the Prorsus. And just something that I thought was crazy was the fact that they had no roots and one of the last non-avian dinosaurs. Something I added in for a little fun. If you like watching anime and you don't mind if it's a little corny, this little show talks about dinosaurs and gives some fun fact. I used to watch it when it first came out. I haven't seen it recently, but it is on Netflix, if you want to entertain the kids or the family and just overall have a good time. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it and let me know what you guys think.